Hello, Theresa Campbell here. How are you guys tonight? I just want to make sure that I am live. And if you are watching, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait 2 seconds, let everybody mosey on over, let Facebook do its job. And I am using this platform, Be Live, which I love because, you know, you can get two of us women, beautiful, vibrant, vivacious women at the same time. But I also want to make sure that I give folks enough time to get here. And then we will do mic checks, make sure we are okay, and we'll get this show started. I'm going to check also just to make sure that we're streaming. Hi, if you're watching, can you just let me know if you can hear me okay and if you can see me okay? I want to make sure that you get all of this good, juicy stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm just going to check just to make sure that we are streaming. I'm checking to make sure. If you want to send me a message really quickly, let me know that you can see us here. Okay, there we are. Wow. Wow. Live and in color. Happy Friday night, everybody. Theresa Campbell here. Okay, let me tone it down a bit. Theresa Campbell here, Be Next Entertainment. I am here with the beautiful Mira Zaki, okay, Intuitive Photographer. And we are talking tonight about body image. We are talking specifically about women in this world of Photoshopping. And what do you think about it? What, for those who are taking branding photos, or you may be taking corporate photos, do you have your photos photoshopped? Are you brave enough to take photos naturally and not have your photos retouched? Do we even need to be concerned about it? Does photoshopping or people wanting say industries and companies not to Photoshop as much, does that restrict artistic expression? So that's what we're talking about. And we're talking about women specifically and how we're really, you know, it's tough for women. The older you get, the younger folks want you to look, and it's really tough on those who really have to present themselves personally to the public. So we are talking about all of that. And do I have a bit of feedback? Let me just, okay. All right. So without further ado, I would love to introduce our beautiful guest tonight. And she is an intuitive photographer. Mira, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit more about what you do?
Hi, and thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome.
I'm Mira, and I'm based in Manhattan, but I travel the world. I've been a photographer my entire life, but professionally, I've been a photographer for 15 years. And I have 4 areas of passion that I focus on: travel, food, journalism around humanitarian issues. And as of the last 6 months, the branding for female entrepreneurs kind of landed in my lap. And it's been incredibly powerful and is really kind of turning out to be something that I'm dedicating to myself to now. And it's a mission to change the narrative about what a photo shoot is and what the results are. I think it's incredibly important, more than ever, to have this conversation, as there are a lot of giant corporations jumping on board with this. So the fact that it's a public conversation is one in which we can grow from and really actually have it out in the open, instead of the many ways that we're forced to hide as women in every way. We really have to be invisible in order to be accepted. And I'm professionally trained. I have a bachelor's degree in photography, and I learned on film. So there were days where there wasn't Photoshop. I just had to learn how to do it in camera. And because of my training, that's been the foundation of the way that I work. So I really appreciate being able to have this conversation, because I feel like it's incredibly important to continue to have, so that we can change this narrative and really go within to find out what we believe, and if those beliefs are even our own, which oftentimes they're not.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that you and I were talking about earlier this week was about celebrities, and some who have said, if I take a picture for your magazine or whatever, don't Photoshop. And we were talking about Kate Winslet, for one, who refuses to have her pictures Photoshopped. Why don't you talk to the audience about your ideas surrounding that, and maybe some experiences that you've had as a photographer when it comes to your clients either wanting or not, or being okay with you not Photoshopping, or however you take your photos. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Again, based on my training, I wasn't trained as a retoucher. Retouching is one of the most popular photo-related jobs that there are, and it's desperately understaffed. There are not enough people to be able to do the volume of retouching that's required, because each one takes days, weeks to complete, to get that sort of perfect alien magazine cover. So having, I've worked within photography as well as a photo producer, a photo editor, a photo researcher. So not just behind the camera, I've been able to see many different sides of the production of a photo shoot, and, and afterwards, what is required and what's meant to happen for fashion, for anything that's editorial. And it just never sat well with me. It was so strange and unnatural that we couldn't just get it right in camera, that it wasn't enough to just photograph someone and just have it be what it was. So I've been doing that very naturally my whole career. And it just sort of came together in the last year that I was actually including my intuitive abilities. And that was really guiding the photo shoots, to be able to really tune into somebody and see when they're uncomfortable and make sure that I'm addressing it. I address it the entire process, that anyone who hires me, you get me for a couple of months and you get my entire crew when you hire me. So there's a whole sequence of events that happen. We're in touch quite a lot. We have a very in-depth consultation for an hour and a half about what your fears and anxieties are. And truth be told, I'm really not for everybody, because and that's okay, because some people really do want that, perfected, finished look. And truthfully, with my training and with my stylists, a lot of them are celebrity artists. You really don't need it, in my opinion. We get the lighting really beautiful. We have expert wardrobe, hair and makeup. So there's simply no need to filter yourself away.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the comments that you're receiving from women or people who want to use your services when it comes to their body image? For me, for instance, and you probably heard it from, and I have to say it, you probably heard it from Black folks, that we have to have lighting.
Right.
We have to have some color. Well, I'll speak for myself. I love to have some color. And, there is that thing where I'm like, wait a minute, I need to take a picture on this side and not this side, right? Do you experience that? And is that what we're talking about here? Are we talking about people really needing to be comfortable in their skin enough so that if they're taking a branding photo, whatever they see, they're okay with? And and I'll say this also, from the branding side, having to retouch photos, and I do a little bit just to make it appealing, right? So my background is marketing, and I can tell you that on some of the products or projects that I worked on, we literally would make a chin for someone.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
We would literally put in cheekbones,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and cheeks. So that's an extreme, right? Then there is the camp of people, artists, brand managers, people like myself who may say, okay, there's nothing wrong with a little eye touch up or a little, maybe something on the forehead. When you're helping your clients, how do you address that? Are you really saying that clients who come to you must be so confident and strong in their body image that the pictures that they receive from you, the photos that they receive from you, will be so great that they don't need any photoshopping? Can you talk to us a little bit about, I know that was a lot, but just jump in there whenever you want to.
Yes, so I do want to clarify that literally all photos go through Photoshop. They do get a very, very minimal, if needed, color boost. You know, if there's an umbrella growing out of your head, that kind of stuff. I'm trained to look for that stuff prior. However, if something like that happens to be affecting the image, yes, we will remove it.
Got it.
You know, if there's like a really obvious blemish that can easily be smoothed,
right.
Yes. Right. Making you look like an Alien magazine cover, no. So yes, there is like a very basic kind of,
right.
Okay. I just call it like like a boost, like a color boost or a cropping or something, but not like where we are adding a chin or making you smaller, making you bigger, or completely making your face glossy. That's not my style. That's available if people want to have their photos retouched in that way. It's simply not a service that I provide. So, and again, going back to your point of, you know, for certain skin tones, there is more light needed. There is certainly insecurities that people have about, this is my good side. I take all of that into consideration when we have our consultation. And, you know, I've been a photographer for over 15 years, so I'm telling you, I've seen it all. I've got an enormous amount of experience worldwide, and I understand, you know, I'm very empathetic to how vulnerable it is to be photographed. And especially when you're an entrepreneur and you're doing 8 million things and you've got deadlines and you've got a launch or a new website or a new logo or a new design, rebrand. That's my world. I understand the world of deadlines, and I very much empathize with how important it is to have images that you love. And that's really the desire. So it takes about 2 to 4 months for me to plan one photo shoot. Part of that is very logistical to be sure that all of my crew is available. And part of that is really thinking about where you are in your business and where you'd like to go. And I create a story. It's almost like, you know, I've been thinking about like, what is this? Because my degree is in commercial advertising photography. Well, it's like I'm telling the story of you at this point in time in your business to celebrate you and to highlight whatever it is that you'd like to share with your clients without saying a word. How we can make you the leading lady, show the different sides of you. And it's like your own magazine spread is how I've kind of been thinking about what it is that I'm providing. So it's a bit different to potentially some other experiences that people have had. But, you know, my expertise and my training combined with my crew, we really provide a unique experience for people. And part of my goal is that this is a transformation. You know, this is not just another stressful like task that people have to do, but something that you really enjoy and remember. And I like to call it like checking into a 5-star hotel. You know, you're the VIP. We're going to treat you really well. We send a car for you. We feed you. There's water and snacks throughout the day. It's like music. It's a whole experience.
Awesome. And if you don't mind, let me ask you a question. So if someone comes to you and they say, I really want to hire you, but I'm going to lose 20 pounds first, and then I'll be back to you. How do you address that?
Literally, that's what sparked this. That exact comment is the most common thing that I hear from people. A lot of that has to do with inner work that I personally am not immune to. And so I very much empathize with feeling uncomfortable in your own skin and feeling like there's that weird kind of like mirror dysmorphia. When you look in the mirror, sometimes it's like, wait, is that what I look like? Or you see a picture of yourself and you're just kind of like, oh, I felt like I feel different. What happened there? Very empathetic to that. I get it. I personally, as a photographer, I cannot take selfies because they're backwards and it really messes with my mind. I'm like, wait, what? This is not how I learned. I get that specific comment the most often. I gratefully send people to my colleagues if they feel like they would like the experience of a more transactional kind of photo shoot, which is simply just not who I am or what I do. And that's fine. I'm very personal. I love my clients and I really desire to work with people that are the movers and shakers, that are very passionate about what they do. And, the inner work is a really big part of it. And everybody's at a different place. If you're at that place where you legitimately feel like that is blocking you, come back to me later. I offer that. Let's talk again. In the meantime, if you'd like to understand how I work, this is the way that I work and this is my availability.
So what does it mean when you say you're an intuitive photographer? Can you tell the audience a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I'm actually literally an intuitive person, an empath, highly sensitive, clairvoyant, all of those fun, wonderful things. So I can connect to people's energy. I can feel what they feel in their body. I can understand, know, and feel what's surrounding them, what their fears are, what their anxieties are, if they have ailments. And that is really, it's so interesting because it never occurred to me that that was what was driving my photo shoots. As I mentioned earlier, I'm really in tune with people. I can see and sense and understand what's happening within them. And so, even when I get that comment, it's like, okay, well, this is clearly generally not a fit for the work that I'm doing. So it's really very literally that I'm an intuitive person, and that informs the entire process of a photo shoot for me.
Right. And you were telling me that your process involves storyboarding and you go from point A to point Z through the whole experience with your clients. Yeah. So why don't you we're going to wrap up here. Audience, if anybody is tuning in, go ahead and ask a question of Mira. And even once the broadcast is over, post your questions. She or I will come back later and answer those for you. And, this is really, I wanted to have this conversation tonight because it's really important to me that women feel empowered to present themselves in the marketplace in a very bold way. And it doesn't matter whether you're a size 0, -0. I don't even know how people are that size, but I know of a couple of women who are. And whether you're a size 20 or whatever, it doesn't matter. What really matters is what's coming from the inside and how you show up and how you present your wares or your business or whatever the case may be in the marketplace. And even if you're not a businesswoman, even if you're not an entrepreneur and you just want to take some photos for your 30th, 40th, or 50th birthday, show up and show out, right? It doesn't really matter. I mean, look, life is way too short, right? Life is way too short. We really just need to not let society and all of those rules and regulations that are dictated for us about what we're supposed to look like really hamper our destiny. And that's my walk and goal in life right now, is to really help women voice that destiny, really live in their purpose and their power. So, with that said, why don't you tell the audience where they can find you? And why don't you let us know if you have any specials right now or any offers that you'd like to, give to the audience?
Thank you. It's been wonderful. I really appreciate this opportunity to have this conversation, and perhaps we can talk again, because I think it's very important.
Yes.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. You can find me on my website. It's myname.com, mirazaki.com. I'm certain that all of my handles are at Mira Zaki Photo, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook. Facebook potentially may have some filters. If you're friends with Theresa, please find me through her if you can't find me otherwise. My business page on Facebook is facebook.com/Mira Zaki Photography. And
that's MIRAZAKI for my audience members.
Thank you.
Mary, IRAZAKI. Go find her, engage with her, sign up for a consultation, talk to her, get some pictures made, get some very nice photos made. And what about any of your packages, or you have any promotions or things that you want to share with the audience?
I am a traveling photographer, so I am currently photographing in Manhattan, LA, and Paris is in the works. So
yes.
Any of those are your cities, please reach out and we can have a further chat. I offer two options at the moment. There's either a half-day photo shoot, which is 4 hours, or a full day, which is 8 to 9 hours, because we have lunch, because I love to eat and I love to feed people. Food is an important part of this process. It's actually very important to ground as well. So yeah, please feel free to reach out if this is interesting to you, and we can chat more. We'll have a talk. And if you happen to live in LA, I will be shooting starting in July, August. If you're in Manhattan, I'm now booking for June.
Awesome.
So if you happen to live in another city that I haven't been to yet, please just tell me and I will work on finding a crew there, because it's all about having a crew.
Right. And what about events? Do you do photography for events?
I used to shoot events for a really good long time when I first moved to New York, and I think I'm still burned out.
Okay.
There are times where I have been tempted to photograph on retreats because the love of travel is so strong.
Right.
So that actually is an option that's being developed.
Okay, awesome. And before we go, there was one other story you were telling me about with regards to a client who had taken her photos with you and how her business changed. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit about that?
I've had a couple of clients in the last year that I felt like there's a turning point at which you feel like you're a serious business. And I think part of that is investing in services, whether that's your coach, your lawyer, your accountant, your entourage. So investing in a photo shoot with me, it really does show people that you're media ready, that it legit, if you want Oprah's attention, you need to have a professional presence. And so several of my clients, I think, really started to take themselves more seriously. And one client in particular increased her cost tenfold. Her rates increased tenfold because she just really stepped into her power, and it was beautiful to witness. That's the goal here, is to provide a transformation. Yes, it's a photo shoot, but it's a very real, palpable change when we step into our power and we're visible and we show people, I'm ready, I'm here, I want to help you. And people know, you can tell when your husband has taken a picture of you in a restaurant and that's your main photo. And look, I love connection, but girl, it's not going to work. It's not going to get you in front of Oprah. You got to have a professional media kit ready to go.
Yes, absolutely. So true. So any final words that you want to give to the audience before we go tonight?
I'd love to meet all of you worldwide. Don't be shy. If you live somewhere that is not New York, Paris, or LA, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to connect. And the more demand I get from a certain area, the longer I can go visit. So there's more opportunity. If you happen to live in Detroit or Florida or somewhere that is not the 3 cities that I've listed. And I just love to connect with everybody that's interested and available, and movers and shakers, please apply. I really enjoy working with people that are determined to make a difference in the world, as I am.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out, Mira, on a Friday night. I really appreciate you. And everybody, please go check out her website, MiraZaki, mirazaki.com. Find her everywhere online. And if you need an intro or you need to find her through me, you know where to find me online. But in the meantime, ladies, get out there, take your photos, show up big, bad, and bold and brilliant in the marketplace. And don't let anybody tell you who you are. You dictate who you are. And trust me, when you show people how to treat you, guess what? They'll treat you that way. My name is Theresa Campbell, V-Next Entertainment. Really happy to be back in front of you on live stream. Have a fantastic evening and a fantastic weekend. I'll be back, and we'll have more shows like this. If there's a topic that you want us to discuss, let me know. I will have Mira back so that she can talk to you more about intuitive photography. And in the meantime, go out there, be big, bad, and bold. Have fun. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye. Yay.